Keanu Reeves. I've been asked quite a few times to have another look at Keanu, and we've all felt for quite a while that something is changing. So I thought today we'd have another look at Keanu Reeves' life and see what is going on, and you won't believe what I found out. So stick with me for the next half an hour and you can see the reading that I did today for Keanu Reeves. Hello and welcome to the Sky Spirit channel, wherever you are in the world. If you're new to the channel, please take a second before you watch this video to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, takes you literally a second, and it means the world to me, and it means that I can spend more time doing these readings that I love doing. If you've been here before, you'll know how this works. I hope you are subscribed. Please take a moment, like the stream. It helps it spread further on YouTube and so helps me with what I do. On this channel, I look at celebrities and world events and anything else that you ask me to, really, because the tarot is a brilliant tool for having a little bit of a dig around and getting some insights, as well as gaining insights for ourselves, I think, because every card, of course, has a special message. So today we're having a look at Keanu Reeves. I've done him before, but I've been asked to revisit, and we do feel that there is something new going on, which is why we're going back to him. So I've been shuffling my cards before I came on this stream. I'm just giving them a final shuffle now, and what I will do is I'm going to put on my little extra card screen, which you'll see in the corner there, and I'm going to use a Celtic cross spread, and you'll see me lay the cards out on the little bit of extra screen. So I'm going to lay them out, and then we're going to go through them and look at the explanation for them. I hope you can see these. Right. And I'll show you them as I read through them. I'm trying to get them all on the screen here. And if you've seen me read before, you'll know that I do like my clarifiers. We usually end up with cards all over the place. So I'm trying to keep things a little bit tidy, but it doesn't always work like that. So let's put the, I'm going to change the scene over to the actual cards here so you can see them a bit more clearly. And that's the actual spread that we've got down for Keanu. So let's have a look at the interpretation. So in the middle here, we've got this is the current issues and the challenges and what's going on at the moment. So it's like the heart of the matter, the core of the matter. So we have got the Six of Swords reversed, and we've got the Ten of Cups. So what do these cards mean? Right. I feel like there is something that Keanu needs to move away from emotionally. It feels like in order to achieve the Ten of Cups, which is a committed and fully emotionally balanced relationship, he needs to leave something or somebody in the past, okay? Now the Six of Swords, this way up, is beautiful because it's leaving, you leaving troubled waters. When we have a reversal, especially looking at the contextual relationship between these two cards, it's like a barrier between Keanu and the Ten of Cups, which is blissful commitment, a relationship that ticks all the boxes. It's like, you know, the be all and end all. It's where we all want to be relationship wise, okay? It's also like that fully rounded feeling where you just feel very content. Something is holding him back, and it's something that he can't leave behind. This is a very watery card, even though it's swords. So it's talking about the fact that he's intellectually and emotionally bound to something in the past that he can't leave behind. And this seems like it's causing problems for him at the moment with commitment, with achieving this fully rounded point in his life where he feels like he's finally reached where he wanted to be. Yeah, it still doesn't feel right for him. It still feels like there's something in the past that's holding him back, something that he can't leave behind. Now, interestingly, let's have a look what we've got in this position here. This is what precedes this situation. So it's like the underlying what's happened. It's the underlying issue to the middle. I'm sorry I keep doing this with my nose, but I think I've got cat hair up my nose. I was like petting my cat before I came on, and now my nose won't stop itching. So underlying these issues, we have got the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So how does this fit in with the spread? Remember, when we read tarot, we don't read single cards. So if you ever learn tarot, don't just use the book and read it, you know, that comes with your cards. The best thing you can do is get a general idea for what they mean, then chuck that book away, because you're looking at the big picture. You're looking at how they relate to each other. So what we have here is the Eight of Pentacles. Now this is a portal card. It's a portal card because you've got a door on it, and it's like to go through that door, it's like you're leveling up, going through. If you imagine when you play a computer game and you like defeat the final boss and you go to the next level, that's what a portal card is like. But this reversal means that it's a challenge that he's got to get past before he can progress. Now remember, the overall theme of this reading so far is about being able to leave something in the past in order to find the Ten of Cups, the commitment that he seeks, or the commitment that we all seek. If it's not marriage, it's a very strong marriage card, but if it's not marriage and commitment like along those lines, it's that feeling of contentment. Yeah, it's that fully rounded number 10, end of the journey feeling. But what we've got here is a real blockage. Now it comes out as there's lessons that still haven't been learned, which he is, again, this ties in very, very strongly with the Six of Swords, in that there's something that he can't leave behind. And this is like confirming there's a lesson that he hasn't learned. It feels like Keanu is quite stubborn. He's a Virgo. He's like very almost set in his ways. And even though he is a very calm and measured person, very easy to get along with, he can also be stubborn. Yeah, he can also be somebody that doesn't like to change and almost doesn't take on board those lessons from the past. And it feels like this is what is happening here. I'm going to pull a clarifier with this card. Okay, we've got the Empress. So I feel like there may be a problem with like maternal figures in his past, and it feels like perhaps he holds, there's an ideal that he has in his mind which is of a woman from his past, and he's finding that difficult to leave behind. He's finding it difficult to accept a life lesson, that things don't repeat themselves exactly as you want them to. Things change, things are dynamic. Who we meet changes. We never meet the same person twice. But it can be difficult if you've held a flame for somebody in the past, or even this is coming out as a mother figure as well. So it's almost like that ideal, the ideal, it's kind of Oedipal, isn't it? That sort of ideal figure, and he finds it difficult to compare people to that. Until he's able to do that, I feel like this is a real blockage, because this is a major arcana card. He's not going to be able to move forward to his position of contentment, his Ten of Cups moment, unless he's able to reach that compromise within himself, that things don't go back to the past. People aren't just carbon copies of people that we've met in the past. Everybody has their strengths, weaknesses, good points, bad points, and it combines to make them a whole person, and each single person is a snowflake. And I don't mean that they're easily offended, I mean that they're entirely unique because of what makes them them, and not only that, the experiences that they have in life, because each experience we have molds us. Okay, but it feels like Keanu's having a real problem letting go of this ideal, letting go of this feeling of mother from the past, or a mother from the past, which he's struggling with to let go. And until he does that, he won't have his portal moment and be able to learn from it and move forward. So that's still an issue for him. Now again, I'm going to, let's go to the other screen here. This was like what underlies this issue. Now we've also got this issue repeating up here for him in a little way. This is the crown of the sort of matter. Okay, and this is the Six of Cups. Now the Six of Cups is the card of nostalgia. Again, we're getting all sorts of nods here which mean the same thing. This to me speaks of somebody who again is living in the past, who's looking backwards and not forwards. And I feel that there might be frustration coming from anybody who wants to push him forward, who wants him to move forward, who has his best interests at heart. Because I think they're aware that he has this tendency to live in the past and look back with rose-tinted glasses, and it feels like his happiest days are behind him. Yeah, I'm gonna pull a clarifier here. Yeah, we've got the King of Wands. He's reversed. He's struggling to find his crown. He's struggling to find the energy and the inspiration to move forward. I feel like it's not like a massive crisis for him. I feel he may just feel stuck in a rut, and he's so used to looking backwards that the fact that he's being challenged and being asked to look towards a more committed future sort of makes him back off. Yeah, sort of makes him feel a little bit scared, a little bit out of his depth, okay, because he feels happier looking backwards. He feels happier, almost, it's an awful word to use, but wallowing in like things that have happened, things that have been, people that are no longer with him or around. And he almost wants to go back there constantly. Okay, now this is repeated in the center of our spread here. This is repeated in what precedes this. So these are the current challenges. This is what underlies this, and this is the crowning issue. So this is what it's all about. It's about the past, and it's about him not being able to be that King of Wands. King of Wands upright is like fire and energy and moving forward and being brave and bold. And this is a blockage. Yeah, because it's reversed. He's not able to do that. He feels restrained, and it's because of his ties to the past. I feel like he really needs to cut the ties here. And I'm looking at, as always, the rest of the spread as I'm talking here, because it all ties together, and I'll show you why. Now, let's go to this card here. This is what immediately precedes. So this has been very, very recent for him. And we've got the Lovers reversed. Now, I feel that there are potentially some problems in his relationship at the moment. And I'm pulling a clarifier here, and we've got the Two of Swords reversed as well. I feel like somebody's tried to push him down a direction of like, no, I'm not saying this is it. This is a literal example. To put me on the screen here because I'm chatting away. You know, when somebody says, okay, right, you've got to choose, it's me or them, or I want to do it this way or forget it, or it's my way or the highway, or we either do this now or we don't do it. That sort of situation feels like it's come up for him, and because he's stubborn, because he's an earth sign, isn't he? And you know, he's not one to just like be impulsive, and he's so used to doing things as he does them. When somebody tries to push him down a route he's not comfortable emotionally with, he withdraws. Yeah, he sort of becomes more insular, and that is because what we've got there is the two of, I'm holding them down here still, I should have them up here, shouldn't I? We've got the Two of Swords reversed. Now, if you have a look at that person there, she is blindfolded and she has two swords. That's indecision, and that's an inability to take either path. She's blindfolded because she's put the blindfold on herself, and that's indicated by the reversal of this card. It's like, whoa, he is stuck between a rock and a hard place. On one side, he doesn't want to give up what he currently has. He would like to step forward into a sort of brighter future. But he's also so wary because his heart is so guarded. That blindfold, he put that on because he didn't like what he was seeing. And I don't mean that figuratively, I mean that metaphorically. He found it easier not to look. Yeah, he found it easier to stay in the dark. He sort of almost switched off his hope. Now he can't get back into that mode where you drive things forward. It feels like he may be stuck with making a decision. Now, teaming that with our Lovers reverse, what we've got here is a situation of disharmony in a relationship, which could be caused by somebody in that relationship trying to make him choose, trying to force this decision on him, and he's not having it. Now, remember, even though he is a gentle soul, he's also very aware of his own needs and wants, and what pleases him and what doesn't, what he wants and what he doesn't. Okay, and it comes out that he's the kind of person that's not very good at taking chances, so to speak. He'd rather be comfortable. He'd rather things were good, were materially pleasing. He'd rather feel secure. He'd rather be in his own, I'm seeing him in his own home, his own castle. He doesn't want to be flamboyant. He doesn't want to step out. He doesn't want to sort of have the world. He just wants to have his home. And it feels like when somebody tries to push him a certain way, he clamps closed, okay? Like a, what are those shells called? Clam. It's a clam. He's like a clam. He will just clamp closed and become very, very impenetrable almost, because you can't make him choose which way to go, because in the end he will just literally back off because he's unable to choose at the moment. And it's coming out, it's because of these ties to the past, because of this maternal figure that it's almost like idolized. It's almost somebody that has become, they're not real anymore. They're just an ideal. That's the word I'm looking for. It's this ideal which may not be realistic. Now, this is things that have come in the past, and this is what we're looking at the moment that's going on. And I think that's why we're all getting these kind of like, you know, like these sonar beeps that something's not quite right, something's not quite right. And we've got that King of Wands reversed. I feel that he's finding it very draining, and it's coming to a point where the problem feels like it's becoming an issue in that relationship. Yeah, whereas before it was like, oh, this is how it is, okay, let's not make a decision, let's not step forward. That 10 of Cups moment, that 10 of Cups situation, all right, perhaps we can't do that because you're not willing to move from this part. But I feel that it's like there's a frustration around it now coming from both parties in that relationship. So it feels like something has to change. Now, let's have a look at how things are going to change. Is it going to be for the good? Is it going to be for the bad? Is that how you say it? For the bad, for the worse, for the better or worse, isn't it? This is moving into, now we move over to this side of this spread. This is moving into the future. So what we've got here is the Two of Pentacles, but it's reversed. So what does this card mean? Right, first of all, it's indicative of the fact that he feels like he's being rushed into decisions. He feels like things are losing their balance for him. It's destabilizing what's happening to him at the moment. It feels like he is, it feels like, again, somebody's trying to push him to make a choice, and it's putting him off kilter. It feels like everything's going a little bit fast for him. I'm going to pull a clarifier here. Okay, and we've got the King of Cups reversed. I think he could be finding his voice in this relationship, and I feel that that tension is building, and I feel like he thinks that he's having to compromise on an emotional level. There are certain things he doesn't want to let go of. There are certain people and situations he doesn't want to let go of. And even though when we look at what's happening in this part of the spread, certainly here and even here, there's all these ties to the past which are in effect holding him back. Sometimes we are that product of the past, and to let go of that, or to be told that we must let go of that to move on, is incredibly destabilizing. And I feel that's what we have here. We have the King of Cups reversed, which is somebody whose emotions are clamping down. He's like moving from being an open person and feeling like a little bit carefree to feeling more guarded. And it's because this decision has been pushed upon him, and because what is being asked of him with regards to the past perhaps isn't something that he's willing or able to do. Okay, so I feel that there needs to be more compromise around him at the moment. So what is actually going to happen with this? I think things are coming to a head. I think what we've seen with our Two of Swords over here and the sort of recent events that have occurred, is this stalemate? Is things coming to a head? Is this sort of, it's the rock and a hard place situation? We've still got the two here in reverse, so there's still this decision on the table, but it's destabilized him. and he's now dug his heels in, yeah, and he's emotionally shut down over it. And that's why we're getting the King of Cups in reverse here, as I see it. Now, moving over to the pillar of my Celtic cross spread here. What I've got here is the Emperor reversed. Now, this card indicates, this position in the spread indicates how Keanu sees himself and how he feels about himself at the moment. So he's having a bit of a tough time, okay? I'm just going to pull a quick clarifier before I move into this. Right, so we've got a Page of Cups and a reversed Emperor. So this is somebody who is in a dilemma, okay? They feel like they've had their power taken away from them a bit. It feels like he doesn't feel in control anymore of what's happening on an emotional level, and it is emotional because we're looking at cups here. On one hand, we've got a Page of Cups, which is a new beginning for him, and I'm sensing this can be creativity or romance, but looking at the rest of the spread, what we've got here is a romantic new beginning, yeah? And it's like the beginning of something better, which could have led to that 10 of Cups contentment that we found right in the middle of the spread. That's the very core of this question, okay? So on one hand, there's that. On the other hand, we've got the Emperor who's been toppled off his throne. So he feels that in order to achieve this, he has to give up on who he is. He has to give up his crown. He has to not be Emperor of his own life anymore. And I think perhaps with Keanu being the age that he is, and also with him being an earth sign, he's set in his ways. Yeah, he is set in his ways. And I feel like somebody might be asking him to step too far out of the box, okay, in order to start this new phase of his life. And I don't think he's ready to do that, okay? And I think he's fully aware that of who he is and what he wants, right? And there's this sort of like, there's this little part of him which is like, okay, it would be nice to be this Page of Cups. It would be nice to have this moment, this new beginning. But at the same time, his behaviors, his patterns are so deeply entrenched here that it's almost like he's scared to take those steps, and he knows that, okay? He knows that. Now, I'm going to pull another clarifier here as well. Yeah, we've got another destabilized card here. We've got the Four of Pentacles reversed. He feels like it's like the whole thing has been very destabilizing for him. He doesn't want to change. He wants to remain as that Four of Pentacles, this way up, which is balanced, in control. Things are like they've always been. He was happy with that, okay? So this change that somebody is trying to bring to him, he doesn't really want it. He wanted things to stay as they were. Yeah, he wanted things to be as they were. So this sort of new beginning for him feels a bit like pie in the sky. Now I'm going to move on to the next card here, because this is the environment around him. We've got the Death card. Now, this doesn't mean that there is death around him. It means that somebody, because this is the environment and the people around him, it feels like there's somebody who is given that ultimatum. I'm just going to pull another card here. Yeah, we've got fighting around him, and we've also got a Queen of Wands. So we've got a fire queen. So we've got an Aries or a Sagittarius or a Leo, who it's sort of, this is the person who's giving him the you know, that, what do you call it, ultimatum. So these three cards together, remember we read contextually. Right, let's start with the person that's involved in this. We've got a fire queen. We've got somebody who knows their mind. We've got somebody who is a fire sign, who has a lot of fire in their birth chart, or who has the personality of a fire queen. So that's somebody who can be a little bit demanding, somebody who knows their mind, somebody who can be quite full of inspiration, quite creative, but they almost sort of want their own way. They're not as easygoing as him. They sort of, you know, they can get a bit tired when things don't go their way. Let's put it like that, okay? Now, Teaming that with our Five of Wands, that Five of Wands is that little fighting card. It's like quarreling, it's like competition, it's like things going on around him. Things like he likes a peaceful and easy life, it seems. He likes to be, he doesn't like to squabble. He likes things to be peaceful. He likes things to have routine. He likes routine. And this Fire Queen has been shaking things up a little bit, particularly now. She's trying to enforce this decision on him. And don't forget, we've got the Lovers reversed and the Two of Swords reversed over there. So this is really coming out as this is what the root of this reading is about. It's about this ultimatum, I'm going to call it. And the way I'm going to call it, the reason I'm going to call it an ultimatum is this Death card. Okay, first of all, this is really powerful because it's a major arcana card and it's about transformation. Now, the Death card is usually about transformation and change, okay? Somebody's demanding that something has to change massively. They want something to be dead to him. They want something to be left in the past. Now, if you look at the rest of the spread, starting from the middle here and what's crowning and what's underneath, there's this mother figure which is keeping him in the past. But he wants to stay there, okay? It's like he has an ideal of how things could be, and it's causing these problems. And this Fire Queen has literally said to him, this needs to stop. Things need to change. That needs to be left behind. That needs to be dead to you, okay? But he's struggling with that. He's struggling big time to actually do that. He doesn't want to do that. And I'm really sensing friction here. Now, I'm going to move on because what we've got here is the position. I'm just trying to tidy my cards up a little bit here. Let's move these here so I can still see them. What we've got here is hopes and fears. Now I'm going to pull another card here. So we've got the Page of Swords reversed and we've got the Four of Cups. Okay, so this is really, really clear and it sort of speaks volumes because what we've got are Keanu's hopes and fears. Now, first of all, we're going to do his, we'll do his fears first. I think he fears rushing into things. He fears being naive, but he also fears missing out. And if you look at the illustration on this card, the Four of Cups is about, you know, it's a card that can indicate some contemplation and procrastination, but also missing out on opportunities. So he's fully aware that by living in the past, he may well be missing the opportunity of a lifetime in his current relationship. Okay, he feels that, he knows that he might be missing out on it, but still he's got this Page of Swords reversed energy where it feels like something just doesn't feel right to him. It doesn't feel like he can begin afresh, and I'm not convinced that he thinks he's in the right position to move forward. I think he was quite comfortable where he was. He doesn't want to progress things. If he wants to reach that 10 of Cups, that committed, fully rounded relationship, I'm not sure that the one that he's in at the moment is the right one, or at least he's a little doubtful about it. But he's still thinking, but am I going to miss out here? Am I just sitting around and I'm not seeing the opportunity that's being handed to me emotionally, which is what that Four of Cups is about, okay? And it's like, what does he do? I'm pulling another card here, and we've got the Knight of Pentacles as well. So looking at this from a hopes point of view now, he actually hopes that I'm just thinking about this because I want to pull another card as well. I've got this massive, right, okay. We've got the Seven of Cups. So on one hand, we've got the fears, which is like missing out. We've also got hopes, which is like potentially, this is a card of dreams, okay? So he knows potentially that he's got dreams to fulfill, and he still has dreams, and his dreams are about this Knight of Pentacles moment, okay? Now, the Knight of Pentacles is somebody who's very sort of grounded and practical, and is They enjoy home life. They don't have to move fast. They don't have to rush into things. It's like he wants to withdraw a little bit. It's like he wants to be with somebody. His hope is to be with somebody who he can share a dream with, which is very grounded, which isn't about constant change, which isn't about this sort of fear of missing out thing that we sort of all suffer from. He hopes to be with somebody who just lets him be who he is, who just allows him to acknowledge the fact that he does have a lot of, like, his love and joy is in the past, and that's where he wants to stay. Not all of us want to keep moving forward, and I feel like he doesn't want to keep moving forward. I feel like he wants to be static, and he wants to potentially just be that sort of homebody. That's our Knight of Pentacles, and it's tying it in with that dream. His dream is being that homebody, is having that you know, sort of, I'm feeling like Quiet House in the country, you know, that sort of, like, not in the public eye. I don't feel like he wants things to be out there. He doesn't want things to change. He wants to be able to live such a quiet life, sit by the fire, that sort of thing. But on the other hand, he knows perhaps that's like one of his problems, and perhaps he feels like he should be pushing himself forward. Now, that's going to lead me, that was a bit tricky, that his hopes and fears are quite tied together, and I think that's because they're not clearly defined for him. I think that what his soul and heart wants, on one hand, he also knows that that's a problem. Yeah, he also knows that that could hold him back. And I think that's why those cards come out so complexly. Is that a word? Complicatedness. The complexities of it. Yeah, they're quite sort of interlinked with each other, his hopes and fears, and that is really compounded by, if we look at the outcome card here, we've got the 10 of Wands. Okay, I'm pulling a clarifier here, and I've got the Queen of Cups. Now, what do these cards mean? So let's have a look. Basically, this card, my 10 of Wands, I always equate to, when we're looking at a reading which contextually seems to be about relationships and choices, it feels like he has immense amounts of emotional baggage which need to be put down before he can reach this destination, which is this castle in the background. Okay, so he's carrying all this on his back. Okay, but I think what he needs is somebody who's a Queen of Cups, who is compassionate, who has the time for him, who is able to listen to him and stop pushing him. All right, now this conflicts with the Queen of Wands. Where has she gone? Right, so the Queen of Wands here is coming out as our fire queen. Now, fire and water queens are very, very opposite, and this is a reason why I think potentially the person that he's with at the moment, who might be the Queen of Wands, is perhaps not the person that he will feel the most comfortable with in the long run, because I feel that he needs somebody who's more compassionate and somebody who's more fluid and able to flow with him, rather than to try and move things on. Okay, because I feel that that's the only way that he's going to be able to put down this baggage. And I've just pulled another clarifier, and we've got the 8 of Swords reversed, which confirms for me that the way for him out of this prison, we look at the 8 of Swords, it's about a prison of your own making, is with a Queen of Cups, which is a water sign, or somebody with that emotional, compassionate depth to them, who's able to help him put down this burden and put down this emotional baggage that he's carrying with him. Because I don't feel that he's going to be able to manifest his full 10 of Cups moment that came out right in the middle of the core of this spread, until somebody stops trying to push him forward and becomes more like the Queen of Cups. Now, whether that's a change of partner or whether that's a change of that partner's expectations is not clear, but there's certainly a change between the Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups. That goes from fire to water. That's a massive change. That's what's needed to free him of the prison of his emotional burdens. Okay, now also with these cards, I potentially see the need that he may have identified himself, because looking back at his hopes and fears here, this part of the spread, I have to say, confused me a little bit, because it feels like there's that sort of push me pull you energy. He knows what he hopes for, but at the same time he fears it, and he's quite comfortable in what he's doing, and he fears that to step out of that might lead to somewhere where he doesn't want to be, but he's also scared of missing that opportunity. So I think what we might see with Keanu is to work on this emotional baggage that he's carrying. It could well be that we see him moving into some sort of therapy, counseling, something like that, but I think he'll go in dragging his heels, to be honest. And I think what he will be doing is trying to placate his queen, to try to, because she's really trying to force this decision on him, and perhaps, you know, like saying that you need to leave this in the past to him. So I think he might be drag kicking and then screaming into that sort of therapeutic situation, but he's the kind of person who would try it because he feels like perhaps it is holding him back. Perhaps it is, okay? But you know, sometimes we have things that are tied up very deep and tight inside ourselves, and to release that releases the floodgates that we don't want to. We don't want to let those feelings out sometimes. So this has been quite a complex reading for Keanu Reeves, and I did sense, and we all sensed, I've been asked so many times to go back and revisit Keanu's life with the cards, so we did sense that there was something, and it feels like we're gonna have, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out something in the next few months about that relationship, because it's at that, I think, make it or break it stage. So what's going to happen in the next few months is going to mean it's either going to continue and we're going to see something developing more commitment, i.e. he will be able to leave behind the past to reach that 10 of Cups commitment, that's the finishing line, or he's going to dig his heels in and say, no, I'm not changing, I'm not going to give up my ties to the past here, I don't want to, I want to remain where I am, and then we'll see the end of the relationship. So I hope you've enjoyed that reading. Please let me know in the comments what you think. If there is another person that you'd like me to cover, then let me know in the comments again. If you'd like a reading for yourself, you can book me on skyspirit.co.uk. Have a look at my website. I also work as an artist for Oracle card publisher Hay House Publishing, so you'll be able to see what I do art-wise on there, and that's what leads me to my connection with tarot and oracle cards. So it's been lovely spending time with you. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Stay weird.